Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Saturday afternoon here in Appalachia. We're definitely cooled off here. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. Blue skies, no wind, 50 degrees, quiet, no neighbors. It's so beautiful, peaceful. With the fire going, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just peaceful. I wish everybody could experience this peace because as I look around during the week, our world is anything but peaceful. I notice it looks like the United Kingdom includes, of course, England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, even Australia and New Zealand. They've been conquered basically. First time that the British Isles have been conquered since William the Conqueror came from Normandy in 1066. That's what the whole story of Robin Hood's partly about, is the Normans coming across the channel. But this time it was done without a shot. Um, it looks like the native Britons um, have no rights left. Some of them are being thrown out of their homes to make way for the immigrant population that's been brought in. And that could be a prelude to what we see here in the United States. We'll have to wait and see. But it's been a crazy week. The madness, the emotional volume is so high when we look around. It's just really, really sad to observe and very important to detach from. I know some of the videos that I see come by my feeds are very difficult to watch, very triggering. So I try to just observe it, but it's tough. It's tough. Um, we have got people who are calling for violence. Nancy Mace in the House of Representatives of the United States wants to keep men, regardless of what clothing they're wearing, she wants to keep men out of the ladies' restroom. And I don't blame her for that. So that made a big stink, and she was getting death threats. Why is that necessary? It just goes to show, as I was talking about last week, that there is a real mental health crisis going on in the Western world. And it's being done on, I believe, on purpose. I think it is the culmination of about 3 generations worth of effort by the controllers of our society to bring about this collective madness. And as I spoke about once before, I believe it was Thomas Hobbes who wrote in the book Leviathan back in the 1600s the phrase, the war of all against all. So once again, we're seeing people, for some reason in this particular time, this particular moment in our space-time continuum, where we are voluntarily, it's all by choice, but it's also very subconscious, choosing all these labels. There's everyone's got labels, whether I see, whether it's Republican or Democrat. You see it in all of the headlines, There was one I just couldn't believe that there was a headline about somebody who was openly gay, and I guess the headline made him being openly gay made him more qualified than if he was a closet gay. What is the difference? Why is that important? It's not. Unless you want to continue to perpetuate this direction in our society to where we come to the war of all against all, and it's being done through labels where everybody has to identify with these labels, and therefore you're okay because you use the same label as me, but you're not okay because you don't use the same label as me. And that's a prescription for disaster. This is a war for the soul of humanity. And it is being waged on many fronts. One of them is the front of labels. One of them is the front of legal drugs. Today, everybody's all up in arms because of who President-elect Trump is selecting for certain positions. And when you look at who he is selecting, if you believe he's selecting, I don't believe he is. I think he's just doing as he's told. But when you look at who's being selected for certain positions, you can see where their loyalties lie. And they are certainly not in your health or your freedom. Quite the contrary. At the same time, supposedly our current president, who is not running things either, he's just a puppet, has given the okay to lob some missiles from the Ukraine into Russia. So what is the goal there? Why do we want to do that? Over 20 wars going on right now around the world. When do the people rise up and say enough? We're not there yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. One of the reasons that we're not there here in the United States, it's quite obvious that the plan over the last 2 to 3 generations has been to create a society filled with men with low testosterone. So I was amazed and saddened by the fact that this Nancy Mace, who's a very lovely woman from South Carolina in the House of Representatives, and is being threatened because she wants to keep men out of the women's bathroom. And none of the men that I could see in our House of Representatives are standing up to protect her. Where are the real men in our government? There are none. There are none, as far as I can tell. Maybe I missed one or two, but none of them are standing up to be heard. None of them are standing up to be counted. This is going to come from the grassroots, and it's going to come from places like Appalachia, which I believe is one of the last bastions of real manhood. From after living out here for 2 years now, and having lived all over the Western world, I'm convinced that this is one of the last places you're going to find real men. There'll be pockets of them somewhere, but you're in some of the cities, but small pockets. They're out here. And maybe that's why I was guided to come out here. I don't know. To connect with this energy. I hope so. But it's certainly not in Washington, D.C., the District of Criminals. It is just appalling what is going on there, and even in our state capitals. My beloved Michigan has just been overrun with evil, as have many other states. Eventually, the movement is going to come from the ground up. It is not going to come from the top down. I think our president-elect is going to prove that once and for all, especially with the woman he's nominating for his attorney general, who is vocal about being able to come into people's lawfully. She thinks it's lawful that they can pass laws to where they can come into people's homes and take their guns. And if that's true, then that is going to be, they're going to invent reasons to come into our homes and take our guns because they have to disarm the populace. The United States is the last, we are the Alamo. We're the last ones standing. Australia gave up their guns. New Zealand doesn't have them. The UK doesn't have them. The United States is the last one standing. Yeah, we're the Alamo. And that seems to be where it's headed today. I hope I'm wrong. But Twitter was all afire today and yesterday with these selections that are coming out of the president-elect. I asked the question a couple days ago, what is the price of a soul in Washington, D.C. these days? Because it looks to me like people like RFK Jr., they found his price. And a lot of other people. So the rest of us need to ground ourselves, do our best to enjoy life, do our best to practice probably the most important rule we can practice, and that is to love thy neighbor as you love thyself. But there's something implied in that statement. And the implication is that you love yourself. And I think that there is a lot of people who are so traumatized out there that they are projecting their own self-hatred, their own lack of self-esteem and self-worth. I know I did that for many years. And I catch myself still doing it. Because we are a highly traumatized society. So what do we do? I'm sure that's what a lot of people are asking these days. What do we do? We got to get grounded and disconnected from all that madness. That's what I do. We have to move our bodies, let go of all that low energy, those low energy emotions. Voting isn't working. Protesting, burning, destroying, all of those things are destroying without having a plan to rebuild is a prescription for disaster, I believe. Some of us have to just remain calm and be examples for the rest. Once again, I've said this many times, if you're in a big city, get out of the big city. That's there, the madness there, the electromagnetic radiation, the energy, um, it's just not good. Got to get out of the big cities. But yeah, it's been a hell of a week, and I don't think it's going to get any better. Um, we have Thanksgiving coming up here in the United States, and be very interesting to see what the mood is on Thursday, and then with the idiotic Black Friday, which is just mind blowing. I know what I'm going to be doing, and it's cleaning my house. Good day to clean. Just connecting with nature, connecting with myself, my higher self. Yeah, it's a recurring theme, but I am the only one that I can control. You are the only one you can control. And we need to set an example of self love and self awareness and self control. Because we are in a world that's going mad. At least that's what we see in what I call the virtual reality. There's, the shamans talk about walking in both worlds, as they say. So the physical world and the non physical world, the world of spirit. I think that we're in three worlds right now: the physical world, the non physical world, and this man made virtual world that we observe through our devices and through our network, our internet. And that is it's a very false world, but it's a very powerful world. Um, and it's easy to get dragged into. So you have to make sure you do not get dragged into it. You can be the observer, but be careful about, this is something I remind myself a lot, because I've always got these, they call them bots. So they seem to be reaching out to me all the time, trying to start a conversation. Well, what they're doing is they're trying to create a connection, and that's an energetic connection, and a cord right here. And I don't want it, and you don't want it. All right? You don't want those cords in you. You don't want those cords connecting to you, because they will suck your life force. All right? So be very careful who you connect to in this virtual reality, because it's just as powerful as who we connect to in the physical reality. It's just as powerful to the spirits that we connect to in the non physical reality. And I know I've connected to enough of them, and they've connected to me. And you have to be very, very careful. This is why we have to be very conscious every day about what we do, what we think, what we speak, our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. It all has to be very conscious from the heart. It's something we have to practice every day from the moment we wake up. It's not an easy thing to do. So I know I'm just rambling on here because it's crazy watching this stuff. Yeah. And it was peaceful out here till somebody started, sounds like they're chopping a tree down. Well, that's what happens out here in the woods. But it's still nice. The birds and the squirrels. So anyways, I don't even know what to title this. It's been such a crazy week. Observing all this. If you've got any ideas, let me know what they are. But try to remain the calm in the storm, because the storm is going to keep coming for a very long time as we go through this collective dark night of the soul, because that's what it is. So until next time, maybe tomorrow we'll go do some waterfall hunting. Who knows? But until next time, cosmic energy, earth energy, heart energy. Send loving heart energy out to all beings, all dimensions, all timelines, all realities. May this day be filled with compassion, loving kindness, and courage. Until next time.